If you're considering listing your home for sale in Toronto in the coming days and you're wondering how the interest rate hike may have impacted how sales move forward, then this is the video for you. Before we get started, I'm Stephanie Nause with the Homeplicity Realty Group here at Keller Williams, and I'm passionate about helping our clients build and develop wealth through real estate. If you're interested in information on buying a home, selling a home, or investing in Toronto real estate, then I hope you'll consider subscribing to our channel. If you get value out of this content, go ahead and give it a like. And if there's any future videos that you'd like to see, go ahead and comment down below. Let's have a little discussion about what sellers should expect when listing their home for sale. Last week, the Bank of Canada had the biggest interest rate increase since 1998, I think, and it was 100 basis points. We've definitely seen a little bit of panic from buyers and just the real estate industry in general. I expect that what we'll see moving forward is similar to what we saw from the last few rate hikes, which is a little bit of further softening in prices and buyers kind of sitting back on the sidelines without a really massive sense of urgency, kind of waiting and seeing and biding their time and making offers and wanting to negotiate a little bit. There's a couple things that we're coaching and advising our clients on when they're listing their home for sale. And the first one is that it's gonna take your home longer to sell. We do find that sometimes you can underlist the property and list it for multiple offers and still generate a sale in a week. However, I'm finding that strategy is more effective at selling the property quickly versus selling it for the highest price possible. So buyers are not guaranteed to be bidding and topping the last one and going way over what the last sale was, similar to what we saw in recent years. However, you will have a couple offers hopefully to pick from, and maybe you can leverage them and get the price up. But what we're finding is one of the more effective strategies is just to take a look at where the price should be and expect that it's going to take about 30 to 45 days to get the property sold, as long as we're in the right price range. And since we're talking about price, that's going to be the next thing that we want to discuss, which is that pricing is definitely less than what it was before. You know, we've seen between 13 and 20% prices softening off the peak of the market in February, and that will just depend on property type, property segment, condition of the property, all of those things. But prices definitely have softened up a little bit, and we do expect for that to happen over the next couple months, maybe another 3 to 4%, according to economists. I don't know. Their guess is as good as mine, I guess. We'll have to just wait and see what happens and see how buyers respond. But you know, we certainly are finding that in order to move properties, we have to price them ahead of the market. And in a market like this, that basically means that it's going to be at the same price point as the last sale. Maybe we list it at where the last property sold, or even slightly less, depending on the property type and the uniqueness of it. The other thing that people are seeing is that you're just getting less showings. So how do I know if the price is right? Is going to be based on the number of showings. I expect to see between 3 and 5 showings booked on our listings every single week. And then between 18 and 20 showings should equal 1 offer. Now, if we're not hitting that 3 to 5 showings a week, then would probably have to look at reducing or improving the price into a range where we start to hit those targets. And then at the same time, if we hit 18 to 20 showings in a property and we haven't received an offer, then we likely also have to have a conversation about improving the price, because that is feedback in and of itself. One of the other things that you have to consider is that this is not really the market to play super hardball. So when we do generate an offer, because we have the price point set where it should, and we have those 3 to 5 showings a week and it comes in, this is probably not the time to go crazy and sign back at full asking price and expect the buyer to come in without any conditions and not to be flexible at all. We're seeing a trend moving back towards a more balanced market where you have to give a little to get a little. And it goes back and forth a couple times, and we have to flex a little and the buyer has to flex a little. And we go, you know, everyone comes up or down and a little bit until we're both almost happy. And that's kind of the sweet spot where the deal can happen. It's not going to be a situation where we're going to be able to maybe get our deposit, our closing date, the price we're hoping for, no conditions, unless we can generate a couple interested parties, which is hard to do when buyers are a little bit nervous right now. just expect that you're going to have to negotiate a little bit and maybe be flexible in a couple things. So you definitely want to have a conversation with your agent at the start of listing the property on what the most important things are going to be to you. So conversations around what your price threshold is, what sort of closing date you're looking for. I definitely think having a larger deposit makes a lot of sense right now, especially if you have a longer closing, just in case we see some softening up of prices or appraisals are coming in a little bit shy closer to the closing date. We just want to make sure that there's enough of a deposit secured with the real estate office that, you know, buyers are going to move forward and close on the transaction. We can definitely talk about that a little bit further in a future video. If that's something you'd be interested in, just let me know. I mean, I think we're gonna have to be more flexible with the entire offer and negotiation process and be prepared to flex a little bit. I think you need to know what things that you are comfortable negotiating in a pinch if we have to. And then I would say the last and most important thing right now is sell your property first. Doesn't matter how, selling your property first allows you to negotiate from a stronger position. Right now, if you purchase a property, we have a tight timeline, the market's shifting a little bit, it can be really stressful, and having to drop the price and see your closing date inching forward. The bank is going to want to see, even if you're doing bridge financing, a firm transaction on your current property. You definitely want to make sure that if you're somebody that has to sell your property in order to purchase the next one, or you have to sell for a certain number in order to make a purchase feasible, you definitely want to be having those conversations with your realtor up front and making sure that you list your property first and potentially have a longer closing date or a clause in the agreement that would allow you with a certain amount of notice to be able to move, advance forward, or extend the closing date a certain number of times and up to maybe 30 days, something like that, just to give yourself a little bit more flexibility. This will allow you to know exactly how much money you sell your property for, so you can do a net sheet and see how much you have to put towards your future purchase. This is a number that the bank will want to know, what you're going to be able to net out of the property, as well as having a firm closing date to match up with on the other side with your purchase. So, you know, sometimes having a plan A, a plan B, and even a plan C, you know, it may be living with family for a month if the closing dates can't match up, or going into a short-term rental. It's nice to be able to work out all of these things up front and have a few different scenarios for how the transactions, the two of them will line up if you're going to be selling and purchasing another property, just so that you feel comfortable and confident, and if things aren't going 100% the way that you were expecting them to, you have a plan B to fall back on. And sometimes that means even renting your current property if you don't get the sale price that you're looking for. So it's definitely a little bit of a different market when selling your Toronto home right now, but we still are effectively selling homes for our clients and getting really good price points for them as well. So it's just gonna be a conversation between you and your agent to have some expectations around what the sale should look like, how long it's gonna take, and any good realtor should be able to answer those questions for you. Obviously, nobody knows with 100% certainty, but you know, we can make adjustments as we go along the way. And that's it. Those are how we're coaching our clients around what they should expect when they're listing their homes for sale right now. Again, if you like this content, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in getting your Toronto home on the market, then feel free to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. I'm happy to go through room by room analysis to give you an idea of what your property would sell for, as well as some timelines and pricing that you can expect. And if you're looking for a home for sale, we have hundreds and hundreds of beautiful homes available on our website, homplicityrealty.com. Feel free to follow us at Homeplicity Realty on YouTube. If you're considering listing your Toronto home for sale, then I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to discuss pricing and go through our marketing plan and strategies that we use to get homes sold even in a slower market. And if you're interested in purchasing a home, feel free to reach out for a custom list of beautiful curated properties. Feel free to follow us at Homeplicity Realty on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, bye for now.